Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Standard stuff. Okay, you're looking at right now the agenda for this evening. So I'll do my standard thing, quick overview. We're going to talk about the topics. We're going to lead in with Sam being able to tell us about CDI friendly South Bend, and then we'll go into Strive On app. And then I'll follow Bill on Strive On and talk about how we're connecting everything that we've done up to this particular point with the, tying everything together into the overall business plan. So then we'll talk about the leveraging of the app. In the overview that I give, though, which will be first, I'll just remind you about what we talked about last week, and then we'll talk about our Go Deeper drawing winner. She'll get an opportunity to talk about her things, and then we'll turn things over to Sam, and then we'll go into the Strive On app, and then we'll go into just the rest of the overall meeting. So that sounded pretty inarticulate, and I apologize for that. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a reminder, last week what I did was I reminded you about letting us help you move through this overall process. I harped a lot on making your business easy for others to understand. And the comment was made that for those who are working a job right now and working at developing their business, this is kind of tough. So, and we respect that. So we're trying to make it as flexible as possible for people. The Go Deeper drawing winner last week was Tracy Williams. She told us all about her business. If you want to hear Tracy's story, you can go to last week's recording and at about 11 minutes and 50 seconds into the recording, that's when you can skip over me and you can actually hear what Tracy told you about her business. Shortly after that, Ann Vole was going to be the person who was going to talk about 5 minutes of fame, and she was going to tell us about the Sibley Center, but she decided that Tracy was way too tough of an act to follow, and so she decided that she wanted to come back and maybe talk at another time. This evening's topics are going to be focused in on the Strive On app and telling your story about getting votes. And then, the evening story, that's what we did last week. And then we followed up with how to submit your plan and how it's going to be judged. And that's when I expressed the need to give more time to everybody on doing this. I just really feel guilty about the fact that people are asking me to review their plans. I'm trying to get back to them as fast as I possibly can for their drafts, but I'm taking longer than I should. And so I've just decided to extend some things out to give more time for everybody. Then we talked about exactly how things are going to be judged. Bill talked a bit about the Strive On app and how to move forward and enter information into the app in order to be able to take advantage of that free promotion stuff. And if you want to hear exactly what he was talking about, pull up last week's recording, skip to about 23 minutes into it, and you'll be able to hear Bill's complete explanation in terms of helping you move forward with that. He talked about the quote unquote homework sheet that he had prepared to help you submit your information and distribute on the app. It was noted that it helped see things more clearly, and you may want to listen to how others talked about how they're using that information to tell their stories. Now, remember, this is to help people understand your business well enough that they'll want to vote for you. So that's what you're going to want to be making sure that's being incorporated into what you put on the Strive On app. And remember this, even if you're not going to submit a plan for the competition, this is free promotion for your business. Now, I'm going to keep on saying this, okay? The real goal of what we're really trying to do here is to create a culture of collaboration throughout the community. So the business plan prizes, they're just the hook. They're an expensive hook, I mean, and a valuable hook, but they're just the hook. The real value is the influencers that you meet and the ways that you can turn around and we can help each other. So remember also that we talked about customer segments. So for the center, I said that the most that you, the members, are customer segment number 2 for us. You know, the members developing and running small businesses. So making sure that you're getting greater access to resources, information, capital, and opportunities, that's our value proposition. So you can be sure that I've peppered throughout our business plan information about that. And I'm telling on the Strive On app, our story is going to be talking about that every place that we possibly can. I also mentioned that customer segment number 2 is the city and municipalities like that. So for us, we're positioning ourselves as a consulting service, helping them to do a better job, helping your businesses grow so that you help them improve the quality of life for everyone in the community. So that's how we're positioning our relationship with the city. And then many of the influencers that we've identified are customer segment number 3 for the CUC. So those who have access and control over the resources, the information, the capital, the opportunities that we keep on talking about, for them, the CUC business and Project Impact, we're a connector. And I believe actually we're probably one of the best connectors that they've got, okay? We understand the small businesses. We have relationships with the small businesses. We can help them find the small businesses, and they're in the neighborhoods that are critical, I think, to the health of the community overall. But they keep on getting lost when everybody's scrambling, talking about trying to hit the you know, the big hit, the home run. It's like the city and everybody else, they keep on trying to get the big business landed in the community that's going to hire 500 people. And that's great, and that's wonderful, and we love that. But while they're doing that, they lose sight of the small neighborhood business that's only going to hire maybe about 10 people. We are the ones that keep on bringing the businesses that will do that back to them into the forefront and helping them get opportunities to be able to connect with them. That's what we do. It ain't pretty, it ain't sexy, but it's really what is necessary in order for us to be able to uplift our communities and to really to win overall. So I sound like I sound like I'm beating the proverbial dead horse, but think about this. I've got folks telling me that they're blown away that they had the opportunity to have coffee with the president of $1 billion financial institution, and now they've got a plan in place to get build towards a line of credit, not a credit card, not a corporate credit card, but a line of credit so that they're going to be having access to funding in the most efficient way. I've had people tell me that they didn't understand what Michael Patton's program was in the community and how it could help them. And now they've got a better understanding of how to work with Michael in order to be able to make that work for them. And I've got folks getting in the queue to go after the grants and loans that Antonius Northern talked about, which is a brand new program that's just being introduced into the community right now. And I keep picking on my buddy Jeff, who's here right now, and his fishing business, because I had so much fun when he and Jeremiah took me out there fishing to experience what they do firsthand. But he's told me it's okay to mention the fact that they're introducing a virtual reality immersion aspect into their business in collaboration with another one of our businesses, Adele, who has Del Star VR. And he's talking to Ann Vole, another member of the center, about doing something in terms of their business and creating an indoor experience during the off season. Then we also had Joe Luton, who turned around and talked about, shared some information with some of the folks about how he got Myers. He landed a contract with Myers in order to be able to get his product out into all of these different stores, and the process that he went through in order to be able to do that. And he also turned around and had a conversation with a member here who was looking for an insurance company that he could work with. And once again, connectivity. So I'm harping on this because intentional collaboration as a culture for our community, that's the real goal. So 12 months of rent and utility, that's just the sizzle for the steak. That's it. The collaboration is what we're really trying to build on here. So here's my ask to you. Give us testimonials. Tell us your story of how you benefit. Do the work. Take advantage of the opportunity I'm trying to make available. But then please tell us how you're making this work for you. And tell us how we can make this better next year and the year after that, because like I told you, Mayor Mueller just flat out stepped up and basically said that the city would be the lead sponsor for this year and the next 2 years, because he sees the importance of you and your businesses. And I want him to know without any doubt whatsoever that investing in you is every bit as important as investing in the $1 million projects that people keep bringing them every year or every day. And sometimes the big idea is to think small. Sometimes thinking about what we're doing is critically important. Okay, so having said all of that, I'm going to shut up. Sam, are you here? Are you connected?
Yep, I'm here. Took me a second there to get my unmute button going.
There you go. Everybody struggles with the unmute. Okay, so please introduce yourself and tell us about all the good work that you're doing in the community.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Sam. I'm with a new organization in town called CDFI Friendly South Bend. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing, but I'm just here to be short and promote one of our programs that we're working on right now. But and thank you, James, for giving me a little bit of time to talk about the resource that we're trying to bring the community. So CDFI Friendly, CDFIs are community development financial institutions, and they're basically nonprofit loan funds. And we don't have a CDFI here in the South Bend market, but we do have CDFIs in Chicago, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis that can serve this region. So What we're trying to do is connect with potential local borrowers, and those could be anything from small business owners to upstart developers that want to do development in the community, to you name it. There's a myriad of projects. And so we've done a lot of different things here in the community, especially on affordable housing and working to connect in the small business resource space. And so this is where we're out kind of promoting some of the different things we do. And this is why I love the focus here on business plans, because one of the great things that your business plan can help a small business secure is financing for something, right? So if you're working on your business plan, the financial should be a core part of that in terms of what you're trying to do, and then maybe what you need to get there, whether that's financing for equipment, once you've grown sufficiently, looking at some space, additional items like that. So that's in general kind of what we do. Here to promote a couple things. One, we've started, one of the things we heard from a lot of small business owners is challenges around past credit. And so we've actually launched a program that I'll describe briefly, and I'm actually going to drop the link in the chat so folks can take a look. But we've actually come up with a program for small business owners to get a $2,500 loan with zero interest, zero closing costs, as a way to help build your credit. So this is something that basically, if you take out the loan, pay the loan back with the loan, and it's going to build your credit. The only thing we require is a couple small coaching steps, which I know that if you're involved in the center or doing this program or other local programs, you probably completed 75% of them already. I'm getting like a weird echo, but and so it should be pretty streamlined. We've got some probably a handful, about 12 businesses that have signed up already and are working through the program. And so we've got a donor that's willing to cover all these costs for local small businesses to do this work. And if you have questions about that, please send me a message. I put my email as well in the chat, and we can connect. So the other thing that we want to do is, like James mentioned, right, being a partner in the community. So connecting and saying, like, how are we, dovetailing with other programs? Just earlier today, I actually had a meeting with Dr. Morris at Notre Dame. And so talking about partnerships, how we work together, how we connect with what he's doing, and how that connects with what we're doing on the financing side. For me, it's a core part. It's important, for me, I call this work that we're doing is financial justice, and we're trying to connect, especially communities that have not been connected in the past. Many of you maybe would know my time previously working at La Casa de Amistad, and the challenges that the Latino community has had around finance. And it's the same in many communities that have been disenfranchised from the financial system, challenges working with whether that's the city or local banks or other places to get a fair shake. And we're trying to be one piece that's helping repair that, fix that, and provide access, equity access to the community in financing. So that's my spiel, James. And in general, I don't know if we'll take any questions now, or I think you guys have a pretty full agenda working on these business plans. So I'll let you all get back to that. But like I said, my email is in there. Please reach out. I'd love to connect.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Thanks a lot. Are there any immediate questions, Sam, that we might want to try to field right away?
Yes, James.
Go ahead, Nate.
Yes, Sam, I was just wondering if there were, if there were any limitations as far as when a person signs up for a loan or something. Are there any limitations as to the amount of time a person can have a business?
So I answer that quickly in two ways. One, for CDFIs, most of them do not have a limit. Like oftentimes the banks have like a 12-month or a 24-month requirement before you can apply. So the CDFIs don't. I like to caveat that though, for businesses, and I kind of use a sliding scale, and I'm going to use my hands here because it's easy. The longer you've been in business, the less important the quality of your business plan is going to be. They're still going to want to see financials and the operating plan and what you're doing. But the other example is that if your business has not been in operation for a long time, that business plan has to be really, really, really good. And so I use that sliding scale. So the less you've been in business and have actual financials to show, the stronger the research, the projections, the work that's gone into the business plan is going to need to be. But to answer your actual question, most CDFIs do not have a required time of business, but it is trickier to finance a business that does not have proven financials.
Okay. And also, do you have a do you have a contact number, maybe a work number that you can give out?
Yeah, so I'm actually I know this is recorded and will be out there, but it's out there. This is my cell phone number. I'm the only employee. I work from home. You can call or text that. I prefer if you do it during regular business hours as much as we can. But I will get back that and schedule an appointment. So if that's easier to text on that and say, hey, what's a good time to try to schedule an appointment or something like that, we can get a meeting scheduled and sit down and chat.
Yes, I'm looking forward to talking to you for a couple of reasons. I work with Notre Dame Federal Credit Union in business development, and I have some information that it may be very beneficial to your organization.
No, that sounds great.
So I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you, Nathan.
Okay. Sam, hey, thanks a lot, man. I know how busy you are, so I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. This was great. Thanks, James. Enjoy the program, everybody.
Okay, so the other opportunity we have, I always love our Go Deeper drawing winners, right? And who's our winner today? Amy, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Why don't you take a few minutes and tell us about your business and you know, just share some things about yourself and your business.
Okay. My name is Amy Durecki. I run a business that coaches people in running. It specializes in people that run the marathon, 26.2 mile races or longer, the ultra marathon. So, for example, I have a client that's running 100 miles, not once, but he's doing that 4 times this summer for a special award. And I also coach people who want to get back into running with the long-term goal of a half full or ultra marathon. So maybe they need, you know, they were running for a while and they've gotten out of it. They want to get back into it, but they may need to, you know, lose weight, get back into shape and that type of thing. I occasionally do run local programs as well. I paired with the Parks Department to do an introduction to trail running. I've done that a couple of times. I've done an introduction to 5K, 10K running for women. But right now the foundation of my business is the online coaching. It's in a one-on-one format. I'm looking at expanding into a more of an online group coaching that would give people more access to a professional coach at a reduced cost. So that may be coming soon in a way that I can help more people that might not be able to afford, you know, a personal coach, but want to have contact and want to improve their health and running in a more affordable way.
Thank you very much. I was joking with Amy right before we started the meeting that I'm the kind of guy that stands there and says, like, I get this urge to exercise, and then I sit down and wait till the urge to pass. But but after talking to you, Amy, I may turn around and say, okay, so what kind of thing can we put together for an old guy like me to make me live a little bit longer, but not to work too hard in the process? We'll figure something out.
Let me know.
Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so are there any questions or comments at this particular point that that we want to deal with? Nate, Bill, anything in the chat? Anything that that we need to be talking about?
No, I don't see anything so far.
Okay, so Bill, are you there? Hello, Bill.
Okay, wow. Whew. Lost the meeting controls there for a minute, so it could have not.
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
Is this better?
Yep, that's much better.
Okay.
Okay, and you've got co-hosting, so you can share your screen anytime you want, right?
Okay. Yep. So let me get this. I'm going to get this set up here. Give me 1 second. Tonight, my comments are going to be fairly brief. I want to show you guys a few things about voting and about how to use the app. And we're going to talk a little more about getting your stuff into the app. Mostly I want to take some questions on that.
Yeah, speak a little louder if you can, please.
Okay. I don't know why the volume's not so good tonight. So I've been, I told you all that there would be some changes in the app coming in. So they're in progress right now. And you can see the organizations thing where I have everybody who submitted their stuff is in this category right now. That's going to be going away very shortly. And those contestants will be in one of these categories either. So the first category, contestants, that's for people who are actually competing in the as a competitive, for the prize. And then also there are some nonprofit entries actually in the competition, as well as just some participating. So that's a separate, we kind of split it out into a separate category to make it easier to find some of the different businesses. And then the third category here would just be participants. There are some people who have been participating in the class, but for whatever reason, they're not ready to really go for the full deal here. And so they're going to be in the competition, but they've been participating. And so they have an opportunity to put some things here and get some feedback, using the app just like everybody else. And then we have contest news, which will have some, updates and so on. We'll be putting in there, maybe some resource links to different things. We'll get that content built. And then they're going to be, after that, more categories. We're reworking the categories that relate to South Bend. So I haven't got those built in here. I was just working on that this afternoon. One will be around the bend. So it's kind of like an around town kind of category. One will be South Bend events, South Bend news, and then we'll have some of that other content that you've seen already that was in here, like the history tours, parks, trails, other kinds of walking tours and so on. So that's what it's going to look like. Now, I have a sample in here that you can see, and you can do this in the app. James, again, agreed to play guinea pig for this. This is how the voting will take place, okay? There'll be, each contestant will have their own tile here, right, for their business. And when you open it up and you tap that explore button, now the geofence that we've talked about kicks in. Now, just for these purposes, since I'm pretty far away, I've got it set really big, but when the voting starts, it's going to be set just for a South Bend area. And so get ready, here it goes, answer some questions. And this is how people will vote. Please read the statements below and select each one that you agree with by tapping it. First one is, I would support this business. Okay, so I tap it, it puts a check mark. It is needed in the community. Yes. It has a high probability of success. That's just an opinion based on what you guys present. So present your stuff really, do a nice job, make sure it's clear, make sure it's concise, make sure you back up what you're saying with some data, some customer discovery, some, whatever. If you have existing sales, if you're expanding, whatever it is, back it up with data, because this is a very important point. The business has a good story. So, I've been talking to more people in the last week, and I'm hearing some very compelling personal stories. And I would urge you to consider a brief overview of kind of what's your personal journey. What's the journey of your business, the evolution from an idea, just a thought that popped in your head one day, either because you were working on something else, working on a related thing, somebody expressed a need or a frustration that something wasn't available, whatever that is. Those stories are really powerful, and it will help people, voters, community members, and ultimately customers connect with you and your business. It's that initial thing that you can use to stand out from the crowd. It makes you just a little bit different, a little bit more authentic, a little bit more unique. They're just, I mean, I've heard some very compelling messages and stories. So use that to your advantage. And it's easy to understand. So have you done a good job at laying out the details so that this is not a full business plan? This is like your pitch deck, right? Like your elevator pitch. And so have you done a good job of communicating the different aspects of your plan, of your business, what it's about, who is your customer, what's your structure like, how do you reach the customer, what makes you different, what's your competitive advantage, what's the competitive landscape look like, all of those things. Have you done a good job of laying that out? And what's your recipe for success? What is it that's going to allow you to be successful and stand out from the crowd? So if that's clear and concise and easy to understand, you'll get a vote. So these categories or these statements then are going to be, so each of you that is competing will then collect votes, and there's an algorithm that we'll use. It's so where it's not only the how many votes you get on each one of these criteria, but it also will have a factor in there for how many votes you get. That'll be a tiebreaker. So somebody who, maybe you have two that got like perfect scores, and one person had 50 votes, another business had 60 votes. The number of votes is a tiebreaker. So it behooves you to recruit the votes and spread the word and get people using this and looking at it. So the way it breaks down how voting will actually work is just like I showed you. Now, for this sample, I've left it open so that you can vote. If you guys want to play around with it, you can, if you want to start showing your friends or relatives, you can play around with this and you can just vote as many times as you want. It's totally open. It's going to be open for about a week, this sample. Probably till maybe either Sunday or Monday this week. And like I said, so I could go in here, right, and I can do this. And I never submitted that. So here, let's say I just pick a few things and I hit submit. Okay, tells me my answer has been submitted. So I can back out of here right away. And if I go back in, it's going to geofence triggers again, and I can do this again, and I can cast another vote. Now I've just voted twice. It's not going to be that way for the competition. This is just for the sample so everybody can get a feel for it, see how it works, and see what you have to do then to get your own campaign going on getting people to vote, right? What'll happen when we go to the actual vote, which tentatively we have scheduled to start a week from today. I think that was October 4th. Is people will be allowed to cast more than one vote for a given business, but they can only do it one time per day. So if somebody wants to come back and vote for you, they really like your business and they want to come back and vote for you again tomorrow, they can do that. In addition to that, so also one person could vote for more than one business. So at any time I could go to a different business. So the only ones, by the way, the only ones that are actually collecting votes are the actual contestants that have paid their fee, that are actually competing for the prize. And that could be in a nonprofit category as well. Some will, some won't be competing in a nonprofit, and the participants are not going to be collecting votes. They're people who have, maybe they're really early stage or whatever your situation is, that you decided just this go around to not really go for the competitive part of it. They won't be collecting votes. So again, to sum it up, people can vote once a day, they can vote multiple days, and they can vote for multiple businesses. So just so that I want to make sure I'm clear, I want to have an opportunity here for you to ask any questions you have about this, about the voting situation, so that everybody understands it.
Hey, Bill, this is Dwayne.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, so two things. One is, since I'm not a business that's already in South Bend, I kind of have to promote my business, I'm going to have to do something to get our name out over in South Bend. I already have some creative ideas with popcorn and stuff that I can do to go to some populated areas and create a little flyer and do some stuff to talk about, to just kind of promote. But my question is that the rules around voting. So you said you can vote more than one time, which I kind of, that one, because, you know, if you have people, family and everything else over in South Bend, you can just have them vote every day. You wake up, set the alarm and have it to do every morning, just wake up and vote, versus I don't have any relationships, you know, not many relationships, I should say, in South Bend. So I got to come up with something around that. And so those rules are fixed already. They're kind of established already.
Well, James, I'm going to pull you into this.
Yeah.
For the most part,
no,
they're fixed.
and we talked about this, and you know what? Yes.
Okay.
We're just testing it out. This is year one, but the way we're doing it right now is, it's like, what is it that the people in the community say that they want and they're going to support?
Okay, and then the second question is a kind of a dovetail to that. Is Bill said that voting will start next week. Now, aren't you delaying this for a few more weeks, I thought?
Yes, we are turning around, and October 4th is still the date for anybody who wants to join the business plan competition and be judged, will submit their plan. And at that same time, that's when we're going to open up voting from the community. November 1st is the date when plans need to be submitted to be judged. So what we've done is we've tried to create that room in terms of people being able to finish their plans to be judged for the competition, but we're also trying to make sure that we're opening things up for people to be able to get exposure to the community and get people vote.
Okay. Okay.
Now, and hey, look, I'm just going to be real honest, okay? And Bill and I talked about this morning at length. If I'm a business like yours from out of town, and I'm launching, I'm going to open up a new store in the town, and I know that a lot of people don't know me. Well, I know perfectly well that my probabilities of getting a large number of voters, unless I do something really smart, is probably less than somebody who's got a big family here. Then it's a decision. Do I spend $100 to be in the competition and be judged? From my perspective, $100 to be in the competition and be judged, that's not relevant to our success from the program's perspective. I hope I'm making sense here, and I know I'm shooting myself in the foot, but that's okay.
No. You're
The
making
real
perfect sense.
goal is getting people talking about and supporting and collaborating to support our businesses.
Let me add something to this. Don't forget that in addition to whatever, you know, each of your individual efforts are, that's kind of like, you know, kind of like you're just adding to what we're going to be doing. We're going to be launching a whole marketing campaign here pretty quickly within the next week or so on social media. I think there's going to be maybe some radio component to it. There's some interviews given to local media. So we're going to be getting, you know, a lot of users ourselves on the app who, you know, may have no connection to anybody participating in the plan. It's general South Bend general population. They may not know whether your business is from in town or from out of town. So it's up to you. It's, you know, it really, again, the benefit of you guys doing a really good job of presenting your information, your business, what your model is, how you plan to be successful, and making that clear and concise, easily understood with good graphics, good supporting data and materials, infographics and so on. That's, you know, when the users come in the app, that's what they're going to see, and that's what they're going to vote on.
No, I get it. I'm in. Don't get me wrong. I'm in already. I just I think what I'm going to do is come up with some more creative ways of getting the attention of people over in South Bend. I won't show my hand right now, but I have some ways, some creative things to do.
Dwayne,
Uh-huh.
this is Nate. Hey, I got some ideas, and of course I'll talk to you off after this is over, but I know exactly how to get you going.
Okay, thanks.
I think you're gonna like it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But this is an important part of the conversation, because there are several businesses that are participating in the program overall that are not originally from South Bend, and we're not going to joke about the fact that if you're not originally in the community and known in the community, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. Let's not pretend that that's not true. But then let's also start thinking in terms of, it's like, okay, so what are the strategies in terms of creating more exposure for a business? And those are things that probably need to be incorporated into strategies.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good questions, Dwayne. Thank you. Does
Appreciate
anybody else
the
have any questions on any aspect of this, the mechanics or the criteria, or, you know, what makes a good presentation in the app? You know, I've worked with a few of you, we've gotten some more. You can see in the app, actually, there's a few more submissions. I got another one today that I have not had a chance yet to get put in here, but it's gonna really pay to get, you know, start thinking about pulling your stories together and getting it to me so we can get it built in the app. Okay, you don't want to be late for dinner on this one.
There's a question here locally here, so go ahead and ask your question.
Just what's your website?
What was it, James? I couldn't hear.
Your website.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be connecting to projectimpactsouthbend.org. And that's going to give you all the connectivity in terms of everything that's associated with being involved with the program and how to follow all the pieces associated with it.
Okay.
It's also going to give you access to the recordings from every single meeting that we've had up to this point. So you can listen to and watch the videos from each of those meetings, take notes, ask questions, and then submit questions to us, and we'll respond and we'll answer the questions.
Okay.
You know, and I know perfectly well, I mean, just from the conversations you and I have had, in terms of your nonprofit that's associated with supporting veterans.
Okay.
And let's have a conversation about, offline, how you can participate and whether or not you want to be in the competition piece of it, but definitely leveraging the exposure piece of it that we can make available. And let's talk about how to do that, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions out there right now?
So does anybody have any questions in general about the content? We've been pretty much over how to build your content in here for the last 3-4 sessions. And I've worked with quite a few of you and had some really good conversations. Does anybody have any questions yet about what they need to do to, fill out that form, to get your stories, to get your images, to get your information to me? I'm available, whenever there's, you can make an appointment with me on the line. There's a link on the Strive On resource page. And shoot me an email. I don't know if you all have I think you should have my email address. I'll put it in the chat again, just in case. Feel free to shoot me email at any time. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot more. I'm waiting, ready to go to put your stuff in the app. So give it to me.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Again, comments that I want to add into this. Okay, I'm spending a whole bunch of time talking to people about drafts of their plans, and I'm happy to do that. I'm delighted to do that. That's why I extended it so that you could submit your plans November 1st instead of everybody having to have their plan in October 4th. Okay, I just didn't feel like it was enough time, but I was messing over people from not being able to respond to their questions. The other part of it, though, too, is that think about the way our businesses can interact with each other. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'm going to come back to it. My mind was absolutely blown when we're talking about a business that teaches families and gets people to go out and fish, teaches an old grandpa how to fish so that he's not embarrassed when he takes his grandkids out to fish. And I'm telling you, I mean, I've had the situation where it's like, I didn't even know how to bait a hook. But then to turn around and have that same business connect with another member of the center, another small business, to think in terms of how do you add a metaverse piece to that, a virtual reality piece to that, a new technology piece to that had never other been considered before. Just blew my mind. The other piece becomes the conversations that have been had in terms of working with people with different abilities. The whole thing in terms of a whole group of people who need services that are related to their autistic children and the business opportunities that are open there that are not being served right now, that are right in our community. Blows my mind. That's not the typical stuff that we're always talking about in terms of, and I'm going to pick on it, the big old battery factory that's going to turn around and hire 500 people, and everybody's all excited about $650 million worth of revenue that'll come into the community. That's a wonderful thing. How much of that is actually going to happen in our neighborhoods and impact the people that I care about? Well, maybe not a whole lot. So I'm on a tangent here, and I apologize, but I want you to recognize the value of the businesses that people in the community create when they talk about solving problems that are immediate and important to our neighbors. I'm going to quit with that. Okay, so thanks, Bill. I appreciate you, my friend. We can turn around and I'm going to probably grab back the sharing screen. If you'll dismiss it, then I will turn around and come back to sharing my screen.
You should be good now.
Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing what I've got. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So big thing in terms of connecting our businesses or what we've done up to this point to our business plans and what we're going to be doing with the competition. I'm going to emphasize one more time, even if you're not submitting a plan for the competition, all of this is free promotion for your business. Take advantage of it. Don't leave money on the table. Use this as a way to be able to promote your business throughout the overall community. And the real thing that we're trying to accomplish here is, community collaboration. That's what we're really trying to do. We're trying to create a culture of collaboration. We're trying to create a culture in our community where small, very small businesses are respected and valued and get the support that we need in order to be able to grow and develop. Okay, so I had talked at one particular point about customer segments, and I had emphasized that the way that that Project Impact, the CUC, was dealing with our customer segments. So I had talked about, again, my pieces or the way we're doing things. So I had talked about the fact that our members were our number 2 segment, and how we were focusing in on building on that. I had also emphasized that that the city was our second customer segment, and what we were doing was basically helping them connect to opportunities. And I had also talked about a third segment was those who are trying to be helpful or trying to be supportive of small businesses in the community was our third segment. So when we're looking at what's going on right now, we're looking at the members, the city, and the influencers. And once again, impacting that whole intentional collaboration becoming a big part of what we do as a community overall. I'm asking you to think in terms of, are we helping you with that? And if so, provide us with some testimonials. Provide us with the information that we need in order to be able to kind of like tell that story to the city, to others, so that we're reinforcing the importance of what we're doing and the impact it can ultimately have on the community. As you submit your plans, the plans are going to be due on November 1st. I've moved it out to allow more room. I'm trying to make sure that I can respond to your questions in terms of your drafts, that you have opportunities to be able to incorporate information into the overall plan that's going to be judged, but more importantly, that you're also allowed time to be able to tell your story and get the story out and share it to the community through the Strive On app. So when you're ready to submit your plan the final plan is not due until November 1st. Send it to this email address, cucbdc@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put business plan competition submission. That'll help me be able to separate them and organize them. And I would love for it to be in the format of a PDF or a Word document. It'll be easier to be able to review it. And you should get an email response within the next day of that it was sent. If you do not, remember, this is a startup. Stuff's gonna go wrong. If you send something and you don't get a response that basically acknowledges that it was received, follow up with us to make sure that it has been received. Any questions with that? Comments, questions, challenges, problems, anything that pops up in the chat? Okay, I'm going to accept silence as no. So these are the things, this is what we said we were going to do in terms of judging, okay? Plan topics, 10%, sustainable, 10%, reflects customer discovery, 15%. Notice that the whole piece in terms of, do customers give a rat's patoot about the plan, right? That's a big deal. Business hires people from the community. That's another piece, 15%. Business solves the community problem, 15%. Community supports the plan, 30%. Okay, that's the judging. Okay, so here's the deal. When you look at that first one, okay, plan topics are thorough and believable. What do we really mean about that? I met with several businesses in this past week who shared drafts of their plans that were written a couple of years ago, okay? So my recommendation was to update them and share what they've learned in those couple of years, right? So then for new plans that I've looked at, and I'm constantly, every day I'm looking at 2 or 3 or 4 drafts of plans, which is great. This is what I'm signed up to do. And I've got some help to help me review them and provide feedback. But with the stress, the steps that we're stressing is what research said when I thought about my business, what we assumed as we were processing the information about doing the business and solving the problem. what we learned through customer discovery and how we're implementing what we know. I think thinking about incorporating that into your plan is a big deal. The piece in terms of the plan has a sustainable business model. When you think about that, if I have a nonprofit, for example, that'll always be 100% dependent on donations, on charitable donations, contributions, I think I probably better have a good story to tell about my fundraising strategy to show that it's kind of like recession proof. We're about to go into a downturn in the economy. I mean, everybody knows it. Okay, so what that means is things get tighter, people donate less. It's just the reality of what happens. So what does my plan say in terms of how I'm going to turn around and get past that? I think that would be wise in terms of telling that kind of story. That's just an example. If I'm projecting year over year hockey stick growth, I'm going to take off like a giant. Okay, well, help me understand why that's going to happen. Okay, and it's going to take over like a giant because I just turned around and I landed a corporate business or a distributor, and they're going to be sharing my product or distributing my product through all of these different stores all around the state or the country. Oh, okay, yeah, I see the growth. But if you don't have a story like that, help me understand why all of a sudden you're going to have a 100% growth over last year. Is it just wishful thinking? Or is there something that makes sense about that? Make sure that you're giving that sort of a sense of how things are going to grow over a period of years. Plan reflects customer discovery and had been completed, right? So take the time to use the information that you collected over the last several weeks or that you're working on now. You know, here's what I thought was going to happen. Here's what the research told me. Based on the research, here's what I thought was going to happen. And then I actually went and I talked to some existing customers or some potential customers and that sort of thing. And here's what they told me. That turns around and it shows that you've actually spent some time discovering what customers really want in this community, in your marketplace. And that improves my belief that, you know what, okay, they may know what they're talking about. If all you're saying is you're just quoting statistics off of some Google search, you know, or you know, I went to the Harvard Business Review and they said this is probably what's going to happen, and those are the big brains, and therefore I'm betting my business on that. I'm not so sure I'm going to trust that you know what you're talking about. So think about that from a perspective in terms of how you're incorporating information into your plan. Business hires people from the community. Think seriously about this, okay? Now, we're talking about small businesses. We're talking about micro businesses. We're talking about just getting going, okay? The only employee is me. But I may turn around and I may have to hire somebody as a contractor in order to be able to help me do some stuff. I can't put a website together to save my life. So I turned around and I hired somebody from the community who does websites. Okay. Did I hire him as staff? No. Why? Well, because I can't. Okay. But I may turn around now that the fact that I took somebody, I brought in somebody from the community as opposed to, you know, I went to what's the website, and I found somebody in another country who will turn around and build a website for me for free or for a really low price. Now I've got a message that basically says that I'm actually working with somebody local as opposed to I'm working that I'm not. And then you can start telling the story in terms of, and when my business grows to this particular point in time, this is when I'm going to bring on staff to do these services. That is going to be a compelling message in that particular space. The business solves a community problem. So think about what it is that your business does that actually solves a problem in the community, okay? I got one business that I'm absolutely excited and passionate about. This person is doing an underground railroad tourism business. Hope he's not mad at me for saying this. But, and I just absolutely love the concept because one, it tells the history of our people in this community, but it hires people from the community to tell the story. And the people from the community who are being hired to tell the story are learning about their own history and sharing it with others. Other than the business that I was talking to you about in terms of working with people with autism, I absolutely love this business. It's a good thing that I'm not voting. Okay. So, but you hear what I'm saying. So think in terms of how does your business solve a problem in the community? I've got a number of businesses that I've talked with that part of what they do is they are focused on creating options that reduce gun violence. They are talking about options that turn around and solve the food desert problems. They be able to tell your story clearly in terms of how your business solves a community problem. That's going to be worth 15%. And then at the end of the day, the biggest and most important thing that you're going to talk about is, okay, so what did I do in order to be able to get the word out in the community and get people voting for me? And we just had this conversation with Dwayne, and he's not the only one, because there are several other businesses that are coming to the community, and we're really excited about that because it creates, and we're talking very seriously in terms of creating a very, 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 very profitable connection between Gary and South Bend, and businesses doing business with each other and picking up communities that have been underserved in the middle of that. And I'm excited about that. But telling the story of how we're coming to the community and adding value to the community, and then the strategies that turns around and gets greater exposure, public service announcements, turning around and connecting with media. And we've got people, Corey's business, Faith Hustle Media is working on that directly with us. Marcy's business, in terms of We Bossy Productions, are working directly with us. I want every single one of you to leverage them as much as you possibly can in order to be able to do that. But concentrate on getting people to vote for you. Okay, so I went on and on and on and on and on like I usually do, so now I'm going to shut up. Questions, comments, challenges, let's talk. Nate, Bill, you seeing anything in chat?
So far, let's see here. Wait a minute. Oh, so far, no.
Do
Oh,
Nate and Bill, do you have any comments, questions, things that you want to add or disagree with me on in terms of anything I've said?
no, I think your passion is spot on, and this is exciting, and especially the component with the collaboration with Gary in the months to come. I'm looking forward to that as well. I just think that the program, I just feel as though it's going to be a tremendous success. I don't see anything that's going to stop it, really. I know we're learning as we go, but the way you have it set up is, to me, it's pretty spot on, perfect. And,
Okay.
I'm just excited about it.
I'll echo everything Nate said. Plus, I just can't emphasize enough to get your stuff into me. It doesn't, let me just say this too. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time around. It's not going to be. Okay. But until you actually, just trust me on this. When you actually see your stuff in the app on the screen, it looks different. You'll have that aha moment where it'll come together and you'll see, oh, so I could use it to do this, or I could use it to do that, or I could tell this part of the story, or maybe I need another picture here to support that, or I need a different graphic. You know, I need some data, whatever it is. Once it's in the phone and you can just sit there and play with it and look at it and see the different parts come together, it will crystallize for you. And then, you know, we'll make the edits, we'll make the changes, we'll tweak it to get it just where you want. So start that process now. You know, we're kind of getting late already. So get just the basics in. If you go through that form, there's little red asterisks near the things that are required, even if you just do that so that you get a presence in there and you start to get a feel for how it works. I implore you, please do it now. Don't wait to the last minute.
Cool. So the areas that I recommended were the areas that we used at SCORE, and I think SCORE probably still uses them, okay? Executive summary, company description, products and services, market analysis, strategy and implementation, organization and management team, and then their financials and projections. These are just suggestions. If you've already got a plan and you've got it structured and it communicates the same information, God bless you, that's wonderful. And you're not going to lose any points on that. I mean, that's all good. It's just the kind of information that we're trying to make sure that we understand in terms of your plan being complete and thorough. It doesn't sound like there are any additional questions at this particular point. So, Ann Vole, you were going to tell us stuff about your business last week, but backed out. Do you want to take any time right now to share any information about the Sibley Center?
James, I am here, but I apologize. I totally lost track of today. But I think the information, I think the information that you're providing in terms of what we're trying to do, because Sibley won't be in the contest, but I'm talking to others that are part of it. So if you don't mind, I'm going to defer again this week. Just, other issues came up. Running a business, we all know, right?
Well, we all understand that. So no problem, no problem. I just wanted to give you the opportunity if you were, while we had time.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So, so that's kind of it. Okay. on November 8th is when we're going to announce the winners. So my thing is like, let's have a party. Let's celebrate. I've rented the Charles Martin Center. And so I'd like for you to think in terms of saving the date. I'm inviting all of the influencers, but if you've got anybody that is a coach, a mentor, a supporter for that, you know, is helping you with the business, invite them to come and join us. This is where I want people who have been working virtually together to meet face to face. But I also am hoping that you challenge us in terms of, are we actually creating a community of collaboration? And what is it that we could be doing better to make the community connect more? I'm having lunch with Mike Morris later this week. And again, you know, I have people in the community that turn around and it's like, well, James, you know, the program that you're running is in competition with the program that Mike's running. And Mike and I are kind of like, duh, no. This is how we build our community together. If you're working with somebody who's a mentor or a coach, connect and let's build intentionally, build those relationships. Go look at this influencer list. If you have not had a conversation with everybody on this list, as far as I'm concerned, you're messing up. This is not the complete list yet. The list is going to continue to expand because, interestingly enough, some of the people on the list have introduced other people to be put on the list. So that's going to expand. The goal is for everybody to be able to be getting access to as much opportunity as you possibly can. And when we do that, then we're going to feel like we're doing a good job. I got interviewed the other night by somebody who was asking about some of the stuff that I do with the Summers Group and particularly about what we're trying to do in terms of introducing this. And the last question kind of was like a throwaway question. It was like, what's your favorite song? And I laughed and I said, I've got two really favorite songs right now. The one is Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. The second one was what's his name? Oh God, I'm losing the name right now. I'm tired. No, it wasn't Stevie Wonder. It was Eric Clapton, and it was If I Could Change the World. I'm telling you right now, what you're doing, what you're participating in, will change this community. And if we can make it go viral, we will change the world. God bless all of y'all. I love you. Thanks for everything. Have a good night.
Thanks. Have a great evening.